Hello, everyone. My name is Sara Kerwin, and I'm the Director of Marketing at WrenchWay. And I am joined today by Dan Sunderland, owner of Sun Motor Cars in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Sarah. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good.
So, Sun Motor Cars is one of our top shops on WrenchWay, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how they are working with students and schools. So, before we jump into that, Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit about Sun Motor Cars?
Happy to. My family has owned car dealerships in central Pennsylvania for 53 years. We started in 1969, believe it or not, with my father, Claire Sunderland, buying a Chevrolet dealership. And we moved into the luxury car space with Mercedes-Benz brand 39 years ago. So December 14th of 1982, we became a Mercedes dealership. And since then, we have added other German luxury brands. And we now in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, have the Audi brand, the Mercedes brand, and the BMW brand.
Fantastic. And you have a couple of shops in Chicago too,
We
right?
do. Yeah, we have two Mercedes stores there and one Mazda dealership. So we are in Orland Park, Illinois, with the Mercedes. And then we have a dual Mercedes and Mazda in a town called Bourbonnais, Illinois.
Fantastic. And I believe you mentioned before too that now your son is also working in the business. So you have second and third generations working there?
We do, correct. Yeah, I'm
Good.
second generation. I've been here 30 years, and my son, Matt, he graduated from college in May, and he started June 1st. And right now he's helping clients on the Mercedes showroom floor, kind of learning the sales side of it. And so it's fun to work with third generation as well. And we hope that this is a family business for many years to come.
That's fantastic. Awesome. All right. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how Sun Motor Cars works with students and schools in the area?
Well, first of all, specifically with recruitment for technicians, we feel that we need to do anything possible to put more opportunities in front of us and to see if we can find technicians. As you well know from our working with your organization, how important recruiting technicians is. And so what we have done is we really decided that we need to start from the beginning. So what we have been able to do is the first thing that we've done is we have opened up our dealerships to local high schools that they have students that want to do what I call like a one-day shadow. So we have students that haven't really decided even what career path they want to do, but they're considering going to a technical school. So we have that open with a shadow program. Right now, we are working with PAA, which is the Pennsylvania Automobile Association, and we're actually doing a program with our BMW dealership that we have two of our technicians that go to a competition with two high school students that are going to local go tech. And we actually break the car on purpose. And then the student works to figure out what is broken on the car. So we actually have these two students coming into our BMW dealership later this month so that they can shadow. And they're actually doing that for 2 days. And they're going to work with our team leaders at our BMW dealership to kind of see what a normal day is for a technician. So that's kind of where we start, Sarah, with on the ground level, making sure that the local high schools understand that we are here to aid those young folks in their decision. We have also had tremendous success working with UTI when students are getting ready to go to UTI. We have had prospecting meetings at our dealership so that what I do is I invite one or two of my students that have graduated from UTI, and I have a couple of my managers and then myself. And the parents come in with the student when UTI is trying to convince people to attend their institution. So what we're trying to do, once again, is on the ground floor, let them know what opportunities might exist in my organization early on and upfront. And then what we do is my HR director and my general managers off and on go to different days at UTI that allow students to see what opportunities they may see in different dealerships. And with owning the brands that I own, we have the advantage of Mercedes-Benz has a program called MB Drive, which is a 17-week program that you have to have above a 3.5 GPA, and you have to test into this program.
Wow.
And it allows the student to get a heavy indoctrination into the Mercedes brand. And it allows the student to, when they come out of the MB Drive, they are already at a certain training level that they come in and they know how to use all of the Mercedes systems. They know everything about the Mercedes brand and those types of things. So it allows this person, this young person, to have a head start. And what we do is, because there's a cost for that program, what we do is we pay for that investment, for that extra education. And that helps the student, because many of them have borrowed money for their UTI experience. They want to start making money. So what we have done is we've slowed down their coming into the dealership, but what we've done is speeded up their long-term goal, which is to be a successful technician. So that's called the Mercedes-Benz Drive program. BMW has a similar program called the BMW STEP program. And it's almost identical to the Mercedes program. You go away to a school and they teach you everything BMW. And Audi has a different program, and their program, you actually hire the student and they start working for you. And then they go through an educational plan with with Audi, that is a 2-year plan that every 3 or 4 months they go away for a week. And Audi is a very interesting program because you're already working in the dealership, and then you get to use some of the skills that you've developed at this plan, and we pay for that also. And a side benefit of the Audi program is, because you're already an employee, you get paid for training when you go away. Whereas the other 2 programs, we pay for the schooling, but you aren't an employee at that point. You're an employee after they graduate. So we have had really tremendous success with that. As a matter of fact, I'm very proud to say that we, in the last month, interviewed 2 young folks that are graduated from UTI, one in April and one in May of this year, and both have accepted going into the Mercedes-Benz Drive program for us.
Wow.
So we've really had tremendous success with working with UTI. And we actually kind of get an introduction to the students by UTI allowing us to come in and talking about these programs. And we work directly with Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Audi to be able to provide the best opportunity for these young folks to succeed. And we have hired young men, we have hired young women, and it really is a great way to have an opportunity to grow with these students. So that's kind of the UTI experience. We also have an experience with Penn Tech, which is located in upstate Pennsylvania. And we don't have a direct role with Penn Tech because they don't have kind of the same program UTI does. But we have actually in our stores have hired 2 students that it's a 2-year program. So they have started an internship with us, and they work with us all summer and on breaks while they were going to school. So they shadowed at first, then eventually they were doing some, I'll call them beginner type jobs. We would have them on our internal used cars, those types of cars, because we don't want a technician that is learning, really working on a customer car until they're experienced, because we hold the safety and the job of the customer's role for us is to give a perfect job every time. Both of those students have decided to come work for us after they completed their education. We have a young lady at our Audi store and a young man at our Audi store that have both decided to do that. And then we have a young man that is looking to do this at our BMW store right now. And ironically, the timing's perfect. We're actually interviewing him this Thursday afternoon, and he wants to do the exact same program. The final thing that we have is we've developed a relationship with Harrisburg Area Community College, and we've worked with Mercedes-Benz to get some Mercedes-Benz training into Harrisburg Area Community College, so that as they are working, they have a primary relationship with General Motors, but they have a secondary relationship with Mercedes-Benz, so that the students can see the instructions on how to fix cars. They can see some of the Mercedes-Benz parts, and HAC gives us an opportunity to come in and give a presentation to their students that are going through their program as well. So I think that encompasses the work that Sun Motor Cars Automotive Group is doing to grow technicians, is kind of how I look at it. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great to hear. I mean, not only have you guys established a great relationship with one school, but multiple schools. And that's so important. And also one thing, you kind of offhand mentioned it, and it's so important, but you had mentioned at one point, like bringing in the parents as well. And I think that is just as important of a role than, you know, bringing the students in, is getting the parents on board too. Have you noticed that as well, that makes a big difference?
We have absolutely noticed that that's a value. And what I always offer, another crazy thing that maybe I do that's different than others, I personally interview every prospective technician. So they see from the top how much we care about their future. And every one of those young folks, I actually offer for their parents to come in for a second interview. They haven't taken me up on that, but I know that the parents appreciate that, because we get calls from the student saying, hey, I was talking to my parents and they wanted more information on the tool program that you have at Sun Motor Cars. They wanted more information on the health benefit. They wanted more information on your 401k. So we know that they're talking to mom and dad. They're living at home still, and mom and dad are a big part of their decision process. So we just try to bring them into that decision, because we want mom and dad to be part of it. No different than if you were interviewing with me for a job and you had told me that you were married. I would ask you, how does your husband feel about you joining our organization? To me, getting the buy-in from the whole family is very valuable, because my saying is, I want to hire all good quality character people, and I hope that they all retire from the organization. Doesn't always happen, but that's the goal.
I love that. I love that. You briefly mentioned a tool benefit. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, we decided probably 5 years ago is that many of our technicians don't have the ability, these are new technicians, don't have the ability to write a check, put it on a credit card, and then what they were forced to do is go to a tool vendor and pay a very high interest rate for trying to build their tool inventory. So what we have done is at each dealership, and this includes our body shop and all of my mechanical shops, we have a tool list, which is about $1,500 worth of tools that we feel you need to have to be successful in this role. And what we do is we actually write the check for the tools, and then the technician, over a 1 year period, a 12-month period, which we pay bi-weekly, so it's on 26 pays, we literally take the $1,500 divided by the 26 and charge no interest, and then the technician pays us back in that 1 year. So up front, we buy the tools for them, and then they do pay me back at zero interest over the next year.
That's smart. That's so smart, because the tool investment alone can seem very intimidating on top of whatever they paid for school. So that's great that you guys do that. I think I'm sure that's really helpful and appreciated.
They have absolutely appreciated it, and it's something that we continue to do. And with inflation and everything that's going on, before I know it, it might be $2,000 that we end up paying. We just take a look at what it is, and some technicians actually have some of the tools already, so they may not need to do quite as much, but we're there for them to try to give them that head start.
That's great. All right, I have one last question. So What's your advice for shops that want to get more involved with schools? They're a little intimidated. They don't know who to talk to, how to get started. What's your advice for them?
Really, you have to put in the work. It really, nothing that I've talked about today, Sarah, is like brain surgery. It's simple. It's put in the work. It's make the phone calls. It's try to talk to the recruitment offices, because all of the colleges or technical schools are looking to find more technician recruits. They're looking to train people because that's how they keep their institution thriving. So I would start with that. I would talk about how can you help, and what opportunities are there for each dealership to I think just have more interviews. That's really what it's about. But really, the best advice I can give is get your managers together and game plan, because what I do in my organization might be very different than what works in your organization, Sarah, or somebody else's. So start with talking to your managers, because they have a lot of the experience. I would also talk to some of the people you've had success recruiting, and see if they have any ideas for this. But really, it comes down to, this is not a short-term fix. This is a long-term thing, and you can't just stop because you have filled your current technician phase. It needs to be an everyday effort, because that's the only way that you'll have continual opportunities to find technicians. But it's hard work, and you have to put the work in. My HR director, Lisa Forgy, she's the leader on this. She takes a tremendous amount of pride when we're able to hire somebody. So I leave it in her capable hands, and then she uses me as a pretty valuable tool in her toolbox to convince people once she gets them here, because there's not that often that the owner will take time to meet and greet. And that just makes a big difference. So hopefully that answers the best advice I can give your other dealers.
It does. I think that's great advice. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions I have. Dan, any last words or any last things to add?
No, I really don't. As always, I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great day.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate it.
We'll see you. Bye.
Take care.